here now, episode 7 of the 10-part series of the Chicago Bulls' Last Dance, the 97-98 road to their second three-peat in 8 years. Now, hey, if you know me, I'm not going to hold y'all up. We're going to jump right into it. But first, if you like my content, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. And hey, let's jump right into this. This is episode 7. So starting off, of course, they come in, and the big question is, do the Bulls have enough? Are they really mentally, physically focused to go on to win this three-peat? We all know it's the last dance. Phil is leaving. We don't know if this is going to be Mike's second retirement. We don't know. So that's the big thing going on in media. What's really going to happen? So what Mike is explaining here is the playoffs. That's what really pushes him. You get to play against the best players, the best competition. Everyone didn't play the whole season together. Their team's camaraderie is where it needs to be. And this is what's his driving force to push him to the next level. And playing in the playoffs is a big deal for him. The first round that they had to play against at this time, for the younger people, the New Jersey Nets. And MJ said before the series even started that the only way they would lose any games to the Nets is if they fall asleep. Pretty much saying, hey man, they trash. We ain't even worried about them. We looking at the second round. But that's just Mike's competitive spirit. And he always came up with like his own little things that fuel him to go harder. So for him, it's like, man, saying they're nothing is just going to push him, past them, make the team feel like, oh, we good enough. We're going to beat these dudes and go to the next round. The crazy thing is, the unexpected usually happens when you unexpected. They didn't think that the New Jersey team was going to be able to push them like they did. So they were going at it, but they fell down early. It was 12-3 in the first quarter. They're like, dang, no one expected the Nets to be able to do what they were doing. But they ended up pushing through. It was a close game. They actually drove them to go into overtime. So making the Bulls go into overtime was a big thing, especially if you're the Nets, the bottom seed. Like, we're not supposed to be here anyway, you know what I'm saying? But they made them go into an overtime, and then they ended up winning by 3 points. Michael Jordan had a steal, got fouled, hit the free throw at the end of that, and then they shot a three-pointer to go ahead and win the game by 3. But they were this close. But like MJ said, the only way they will lose to them is if they fell asleep on the court, and they almost... So after that, they go into talking about MJ's dad. MJ's dad was a big role in Mike's life. He was pretty much, of course, he was his father figure, but Mike said they were so close, they were more like best friends. MJ's dad and his mom, they attended every Bulls game they could, which at that point, Mike was just flying them out like, hey, we got a game, come on out. So him and his dad were always close. His dad was there for all of his finals games. He was there in the locker room for the first game he won. His dad would like talk to kids. If kids didn't have a chance to like meet MJ, he would go grab them and talk to him and bring him to his son, because he was just there. He was just so proud of his son's accomplishments, and he was everywhere with Jordan. They were always best friends. They golfing together, all the games, and he used to always push MJ to be better than what he was. That's just what he did. He always pushed MJ. The thing MJ said was when he was younger, he used to get in trouble a lot. He says about 8th grade that his dad, he had got suspended from school and his dad had set him down. And he didn't discipline him, but what he said was, if you want to keep going down this wrong path, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take sports away from you. And that's what MJ loved. So Mike said at that point, he no longer did anything to get him in trouble because he didn't want to miss out from sports. And that was big. So that right there was like the turning point in his life with him and his dad. And they just had that bond. It was like, you do right, you get to play sports. You start messing up, I got to pull you from sports so I can keep your mind occupied off of doing silly stuff. I should have known what all that was leading up to with MJ's dad, James. So this led into the moment where MJ's dad became missing. MJ was having a charity event, and his personal assistant and best friend was supposed to go pick his dad up from the airport. The crazy thing was they didn't see him at the airport, so he calls MJ's mom, and he's like, hey, I'm looking for James, he's not here. But James has been known to go golfing and stuff, fly up, meet people, go golf and doing his own thing. No one thought anything about it. So they're just like, oh, maybe he stayed late and was golfing. But Jordan said himself that even if all that went on, his mom would still know. Him and James and the mom, they would talk back and forth, so she would always know where he was. But no one knew where he was. They haven't heard from him, and this went from him being missing from 1 or 2 days to 3 weeks, and no one's seen where he's at. And then all of a sudden, he turns up dead, and it's like, what really happened here? And it's really shocking for a reason. Like, why would anybody want to kill him? So the story came out that James was driving. He ended up getting sleepy, so he pulled over and just took a nap. When you're on a long road, you know you have to take a nap and you just have to go. Well, he was driving a red Lexus, and 2 18-year-old males, they came up and they killed him. The police said it was just from pure jealousy that they killed him. It could have been anybody. They didn't know it was Michael Jordan's dad or anything. Now, the thing that took a big turn there was MJ and his family is grieving over this, and the media is taking it, and conspiracy just come up. And what Mike says is no one wants to see you on the top for so long, so they want to find whatever is negative going on in your life and try to spin it on that. And that's just cruel, and you don't do that to anybody, especially when they're grieving. If you may have your opinion, but at the time that it happens, don't say anything, man. Keep that to yourself and let this person and his family grieve the way that they're supposed to over a fallen family member. It's just sad that he went out like that. So this is what I mean when I say that the media, they take things and they try to knock you down when you're already down. So the big story was, and conspiracy was, MJ had gambling problems. So they tried to tie his dad being murdered into him having gambling problems. There's evidence of a son's gambling problems. The father of the son has been murdered. Coincidence? Anyone? So they're trying to say that Jordan was so far in debt that people were hired to come and kill his dad. And it's like, why would you tie something that MJ was doing into what his father's death? That's wrong. And like MJ said last week, he had the money to cover any debt that he had. It wasn't like he was a small time player bringing in $100,000 a year. That's MJ. He had the money. It's just messed up that they tried to bring it in that his dad was murdered from something that he did. And that really hurt Jordan. And even when he was doing the interview, you could see that he was uncomfortable with that, and he was like, he's hurt because he wouldn't do anything to hurt his dad, his best friend. Like, it's just messed up, man. Right after all this had happened, MJ's just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with basketball. So this is leading into his first retirement after his first three-peat. So this has put him in the league about, 8 years now? 93, got 84. About 9 years, 9 years. He's at the point where it's like, man, I'm done. So when he tells somebody that he wanted to retire, they're like, nah, you need to go talk to Phil about this. And he tells Phil, like, hey, I'm done with the game, I lost my father. I did everything I could in basketball. I'm done. So Phil asked him, now think about it, Mike. How far are you really done? And it's not that Phil was trying to keep him because he's like, oh, man, this is me coaching. I need MJ to keep playing. But he's just talking to him like, we know your emotions are here. We know you love basketball also. It was your family and then basketball. So are you really sure? And MJ said, I'm here. And Phil's like, man, it's a young man that went through all of this. You can't tell him that he can't retire. It's like, hey, Mike, if this is your decision, then we support it. That's all we can do is support you. Nobody would have expected MJ to retire after a three-peat, and it's only been 8-9 years in the league. Like, nah, Mike, we want to keep you seeing you go and keep doing what you're doing. But this is where conspiracies and more keeps coming out. So Mike, they call a press conference. Everyone's there. MJ, Phil, Jerry Reinsdorf, Jerry Krause, they're all there and they're all sitting at a table. MJ's mom, and he announces, hey, I'm retired. This is it. It's over with. Now here comes the media. Swinging that bad axe, just getting all the bad, making up all kinds of conspiracies. So the number one conspiracy is this was a suspension by David Stern on MJ for 2 years for gambling since he was under investigation. MJ retired, and now that he's retired, it's like, come on now, I can't be under investigation now because I'm retired. So that's the conspiracy that they think that MJ went ahead and retired so that he wouldn't be investigated. Because, you know, the NBA has their own little process. It's weird how that in the NFL that works. Like, they go to their own courts. They got to meet with the commissioners and stuff. But MJ decides to retire. And that's it. It's over with. So MJ grew up playing baseball. And him and his brother Larry, they always said they were going to play in the MLB. They didn't have basketball aspirations growing up. They were going to play baseball. That's what they always did. So MJ played baseball all the way up till he was like 17, and then he stopped because he started playing basketball. He had his growth spurt. So it turns out after he retired from the Bulls, he went to a Chicago White Sox game, and it came out that he told one of the owners, "Hey, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna come play baseball." So so one of the assistants go down. They talk to Jerry Krause, who was at the game, like, "Hey, the owner wants to talk to you." They come up there and they're like, "Yeah, MJ quit. He's playing baseball for us." So this leads into the little press conference. And the crazy thing is, MJ, of course, he didn't go to the minor league. So he went to the two-way baseball. So it's the majors, the minor, and then he's up under that. But he got paid $3 million for 1 year, almost equivalent to what he was getting paid in basketball terms. And the owner was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pay him this money," because he was underpaid in the NBA. And he knows that everything's going to sell out. So MJ, hey, every game that MJ went to, crowds of people. Everybody wanted to see baseball MJ. Number 4-5 MJ. It's crazy, man. He started off a little slow, but he started getting right. So if you've seen Space Jam, we got to see MJ playing baseball. So MJ is playing baseball, and it turns out when he first started, he had like 13 games straight. He had a hit every single game. But that's because, just like in Space Jam, the catcher was telling him, "Hey, don't swing at this ball. Swing at this one. Don't swing at this one. Swing at this one. It'll be a good hit for you." People were in love, like it's MJ. So he's going on he's looking good. They like, "Dang, MJ hitting everything." And then about game 13, 14, that's when they changed it up. No one was throwing straight fastballs for him anymore. They started throwing change-ups and breaker balls where MJ couldn't hit those because he was just used to them just throwing it straight down the middle for him. So people started catching on. But you know how it is. It's like when you first get there and doing something, it's going to be easy. But then people are like, "No, we need to challenge him," especially because you're making us look bad and you're rich. We're trying to make it to the major leagues. But the thing about MJ, after they started doing that, he started training and training and training. He would hit before practice. He would hit after practice. He just wanted to do the best that he could to make himself better. So we take a break from the baseball and we fast forward back to the 98 playoffs. And Cool Coach comes on and he's talking about when we play good, there's no problems. No one's saying anything. We're good. We just get to go on. But when we lose a game, people are so like stepping on eggshells around MJ because he said he would go to the locker room and cuss him out like, "Hey, you MFers didn't do anything tonight. Come ready for practice tomorrow." And then even Steve Kerr was saying MJ was just different. He wanted to win. And his thing was, if y'all can't take me yelling at you, then you're not going to be able to handle the pressures of the playoffs. So MJ was pretty much just being hard on everyone because I'm not being hard on you because I dislike you, but I want you to do better, man. Like, I know you have the potential. I just have to bring it out of you. So he was always pushing people, but that's why he was always on them so much. MJ was just the answer. So along with that, in that season, they had a young guy named Scott Burrell. Scott is really like, he's called him Dennis Rodman Jr. last week, but MJ knew he could ball. He came from Connecticut, and the kid could play ball. So MJ was trying to push him, though, because he wasn't reaching his full potential. And he would just go so hard on Scott because he was young, and he was trying to get him to be better than what he was. So he said he would try to get Scott to fight him, not in a bad way, but like, "Hey, man, stop messing with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my thing. Just leave me alone. Might fall back a little bit. You're going a little too hard." But yeah, he said the guy was just too nice, man. He, you know what I'm saying? He would listen to everything MJ would do. He would practice, but he wasn't the aggressive type where he's going to be like, "Hey, MJ, don't be messing with me." MJ cussing him out, everything, calling him all kinds of B's, but that's just how MJ was, pushing people. I know a lot of people nowadays probably couldn't handle that because, I mean, they hate to hear people just tell them anything negative now without even cussing. You could just be like, "Hey, you tied your shoe wrong. Hey, man, I don't need your tongue." Like, come on, man. But that's just MJ trying to push him, man. Now, it's the first season without MJ. Guess who steps up? Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is out here balling. I'm talking about he's putting up numbers. He's leading the Bulls. And without MJ, this is his chance to shine. So everyone, they didn't know what the Bulls were going to do without MJ. But people they were sleeping on Scottie. They just thought, oh, he's defensive player. MJ leads the team. But MJ, he led the team, and Scottie was right there behind him. MJ was up here. He couldn't go any higher. Like, Scottie was just reaching, like, up under MJ. Not saying he was as great as MJ when he led the team, but he was putting up MVP numbers. He was in an MVP race that year. And he was just doing his thing. Like, Scottie Pippen was leading this Bulls team better than anyone expected. Like, if KD or somebody like LeBron leads their team, you expect them to drop. But Scottie was that guy. He was the best number 2 probably of all time. So they make it to the playoffs. The first rounds, they 3-0 the Cavs. Like, it's nothing. Cool coach is like, yeah, man. It felt like, man, we was en route to go to the finals. Like, hey, even without MJ, it looks like we're going to the finals led by Scottie Pippen. There were big doubters because they said, Chuck Daly said, let's see how Phil Jackson runs that triangle offense without MJ. Because it was pretty much built for MJ. And they ran it good. Scottie, Cool Coach, and Kerr, they all ran it, and it worked out good. They in the playoffs, they won their first series. Now they got to play New York. This is where the drama begins. They play in New York, second round, and they're tied. They take their last time out. Phil Jackson draws up a play for Cool Coach that they have been running. And Kukoc has scored and made a lot of last-second shots. At this point, Scottie Pippen feels, I'm the best player on this team. Why does Phil Jackson have me inbounding the ball and not the one taking the shot? So Scottie sits on the side and they ask Scottie Pippen, hey, are you going to get in? Scottie Pippen tells the team, no, I'm not going in. Because he wanted to be that guy. This whole season, I've been leading the team. Phil, since you've been here, I've been here. Hey, let me do this. I can do this. They draw up the play for Kukoc. Of course, they drew the play up, and guess what? Kukoc hits the game winner. They beat New York in the first game. But at this point, everyone on the team, they're like, dang, Scottie really quit on us. Like, you hear people say, man, you quit on the team. Scottie literally told them, hey, I'm done in the middle of a timeout for a game-winning situation in the playoffs. Now, if it was a regular season game, okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying, you and your feelings, we can get that out the way. But, dog, we are in the playoffs. We're trying to get to the finals, man. We're trying to get you your 4th title. He quits on him. Cool Coach hits it. But it's basketball. It's a team game. Yeah, you want that shot. But if the coach draws up a play, sometimes you just got to go with it, man. I know MJ wouldn't have went for that. He would try to want the ball, but sometimes you just got to go with it. And Phil, being the coach, it's his job to know his personnel and know where to put them and who to do what. Because just like when MJ gave Paxson the ball to hit the shot, everyone thought MJ would take that shot. I'm pretty sure everyone thought if they go out there, Scottie's going to inbound it, they're going to throw it back to Scottie. Everyone was going to be looking for you, Scottie, but you quit. So the team had a meeting, and they told Scottie, like, hey, man, that ain't right, man. Like, we can't have that, bro. Like, we trusting in you. You got to trust in us also, man. The next couple of days, they all had to get prepared as a team, and Steve Kerr said, man, it was challenging, but they got through it. And after that, Scottie knew he had messed up. In his interview, he said, yeah, man, it was just one of those situations. Like, it happened. He said he wouldn't change it, but he knew he shouldn't have done it. But he said he wouldn't have changed it because that's how he felt at that time. And I feel the same way. If that's how you feel, if you say something, that's how you feel at that moment, you can apologize for it and you can be sincere about it. But if that's what you meant, that's what you meant. And he didn't want it. But after that, Scottie started going off. The next game was the infamous dunk on Patrick Ewing where he fast break, they give it to Scottie. Scottie goes up and oh my goodness. And then he pushes, oh my God, he pushes Patrick Ewing down and he's mad too because he on the ground. He steps over him. Patrick is pushing, trying to get up. And then what does he do? He goes over to Spike Lee and tell him, hey, sit your ass down. Hey, Pippen was a monster. People slept on him, bro. Unfortunately, the Bulls go on to lose that series against the Knicks. And MJ's watching it down with his baseball teammates. But, he didn't want to really watch it around anybody. Because it's like, you know what I'm saying, they're going to be like, oh, MJ, he want to get back in the game. But at this time, he made up his mind, and baseball is where he wanted to be. And he said the thing about baseball was his teammates, they knew who he was. Everyone knows who Michael Jordan is, but they treated him like he was just a regular teammate. They watched the game, eat with him, chill, and they did treat him no different than anybody else. So he said he loved that about it. But you could tell when he was watching the game, he was like, dog, we could beat them, man. Like, we just beat the Knicks last year, man. They ain't no way they should have beat y'all. But if he was there, MJ probably would have carried them to that. I don't know if they would have beat Houston, but I'm for sure they probably would have got past the Knicks. MJ said it. We fast forward back to the 98 season. They go into the playoffs against the Nets. And guess who has a big game? Scott Burrell. See, that's what MJ was saying. He said, I knew we were going to need him eventually because he was a sleeper. No one was going to expect him to do anything big. But what did he do? He came out 9 for 11, 24 points. He was lighting it up out there. So MJ always wanted to push people to the next level. People will say he's hard, but the teammates, one thing about MJ they would say is MJ would never tell you to do something that he wouldn't do. So if he's working out and training, he's going to have you right there with him. He wasn't going to tell you to go work out if he wasn't going to go work out with you. So he pushed Scott, and Scott had a beautiful game, an amazing game. No one would have expected that from him, to go ahead and push them against the Nets and beat them with ease. Another thing about MJ is off the court, he goes back to being a normal person. That competitive drive, unless it's something competitive, he's normal. But he's always meeting people. He's talking to them, interacting with them. It's just normal people. Like, he's a good person. Outside of the competitiveness, he's a good person. He's going to sit down with people after the game, before the game, talk to people. This man in the wheelchair, he's signing autographs. They just have a regular conversation, just going at it, talking about college sports, everything. MJ doesn't care about anything else except for sports. So outside of sports, normal, regular guy, man. He's going to chop it up with you. He's going to live like, he's just living life like the rest of us, regular folk. You know what I'm saying? And to wrap this up, the last thing that MJ's pretty much saying is, look, I want to win. You either win or you lose, and I ain't losing. So if that means I got to rough you up, talk bad to you a little bit, get off limp yoke, then I'm going to do it, because I want you to know that we're here to win. If you don't want to win, there's no reason even being on my team. That's the only thing we're trying to do here is win. We ain't out here just running around. We're here to win. And that's what they went to go do in this 98 season, because they ran through them Nets. I know we all know the outcome, but MJ was serious about that winning. All right, that's episode 7. I need y'all to comment down below. What do you think about Michael Jordan and how he was pushing his teammates to the limit? Would you be able to handle that? Me personally, I think I would. Comment down below and let's see if you could. But hey, thank you for watching. Always, thank you for watching. Be here tomorrow for episode 8. I think they're talking about Space Jam Minute. Like I always ask, if you could please subscribe to the channel. Ding, ding, ding. Turn your notification bell on. Share, like, comment. Hey, thank you for watching. I'm MoedotJ. If you can, follow me on my social media. It's the same on everything. And thank you for watching.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.